If you had asked me back then how things were going, I would have said, fine. Busy. Same old. Married 10 years. No kids by choice. Mortgage mostly paid off. 2 sedans in the driveway, one slightly newer than the other. Taco Tuesdays. Weekend grocery runs. She liked sparkling water. I liked still. That kind of normal. Claire worked in corporate marketing at a mid-sized firm. Bright, sharp, always impeccably dressed. One of those women who made pencil skirts and coffee runs look like runway moments. I was in logistics. Operations director at a supply chain company. Stable, unremarkable. The guy who remembered birthdays and always refilled the office coffee beans. We met in grad school. Fell in fast, married faster. It wasn't fireworks all the time, but it worked. Or so I thought. It started small. It always does. A perfume I didn't recognize. Something too sweet, too. Not her. Late-night client calls that went past midnight. The giggles. The constant phone checking. One time, I walked in while she was texting and she tilted the screen just enough that I couldn't see it. You don't forget that kind of tilt. Still, I didn't react. Because reacting means accusing. Accusing means confrontation. And I wasn't ready for that. I told myself she was just stressed. That the marketing campaign she kept mentioning really was high stakes. That Jason, the new creative director she casually name-dropped, really was just a bit much, but harmless. Harmless. The way she said it stuck in my ribs. Then came the Thursday I didn't plan for. I came home early. A fire drill at the office sent us packing by 2 p.m. She wasn't expecting me. I walked in, dropped my keys on the counter, and called out, "Hey, you home?" Silence. Then I heard it. Laughter. Not hers or his. Deep, confident, too casual for a first-time guest. I didn't rush toward the sound. I moved slow. Like my body already knew. I found them in the kitchen. Not touching, but standing too close. A wine glass in each hand, like a prelude to a toast. She looked at me like I was the intruder. "Oh," she said, blinking like I'd broken some script. "You're home early." Her voice was steady. No guilt. No panic. Jason smiled, nodded, cool as hell. "Hey, man, I've heard a lot about you." He reached out his hand. I looked at it, then at Claire. She didn't look away. She didn't even flinch. And that's when I knew. No screaming. No breaking dishes. Just that cold realization. I turned, walked back out the door, and sat in my car. 15 minutes. Engine off. Just breathing. And by the time I started the engine again, I had already begun planning. Not how to save the marriage. How to burn the lie it had become. When I got back that night, everything looked normal. That's the funny part. Normal keeps going long after the truth shows up. Claire had cleared the wine glasses. Jason was gone. The kitchen was spotless. Dinner was already in the oven: salmon, roasted veggies. She even lit a damn candle. We ate in near silence. I asked how her day was. She smiled and said, "Productive." That word hit me sideways. She didn't ask about mine. Didn't ask why I was home early. Didn't ask why I barely touched my food. Because she already knew. And because she thought I wouldn't say anything. And she was right. At least for now. Over the next few days, I became an archaeologist of my own life. I didn't confront. I collected. She had changed her phone's passcode. Used to be my birthday. Now it was something new. But her iPad? That was still linked to our shared Apple ID. And she never remembered to sign out. It started with synced messages. Harmless at first. Work stuff. A few emojis. Spotify links. Then, one stood out. "I keep thinking about Friday night. You smelled like fire and sex. Can't wait to see you in Toronto." Winking face. Toronto? I scrolled back. There it was, a flight confirmation. Claire's Q1 marketing retreat. Only her name. No hotel listed in the itinerary. But 2 business-class seats had been purchased on the same card. Jason's last name matched the second passenger. So that was the play. I made a folder. Labeled it Project C. Inside, screenshots. Emails. Flight records. Receipts she probably thought disappeared into the ether. Turns out the ether has a memory. Each night, I sat at my desk after she went to bed, combing through every synced note, every calendar entry she didn't mean to share. She had no idea. She still kissed me goodbye every morning. Still sent smiley faces in our group chats. Still curled up beside me some nights like nothing was wrong. And somehow, that was the worst part. The sheer performance of it. The ease. This wasn't guilt. This was management. I wasn't planning rage. I was planning architecture. If she was building a secret life behind mine, I'd build something too. The difference is, mine would be load-bearing. First, I called a friend, Ethan, works in cybersecurity. Owes me a favor from way back. I told him what I needed: discrete cloud access, device mirror, full sync backup. He didn't ask questions. Just said, it'll be clean. She won't know. Good. Because I wanted to watch the house fall without her even smelling the smoke. The next Friday, Claire left for Toronto. Packed light, dressed like a woman who wanted to be noticed. Wish me luck, she said, leaning down to kiss my cheek. I looked up from my coffee and smiled. Good luck, I said. Then watched her walk out the door like she hadn't already walked out months ago. Back inside, I logged into the mirrored drive Ethan had set up. Live uploads. Hotel check-ins. Voice memos. One of them started with her laughing, then whispering. He's sweet, you know? Not like Ben. Ben's solid. Predictable. But this feels alive. I paused the audio, not because it hurt, though it did, but because it was the first time I heard her say my name like a synonym for furniture. Solid. Predictable. The foundation she built on, while already scouting for a better view. That night, I didn't drink. Didn't rage. I started drafting the outline. Not just for the divorce. For the fallout. Claire loved her job. Loved her boss's praise. Loved her spotless image. So I didn't need to ruin her. I just needed to hand the right people the right puzzle pieces and let them put it together. Monday morning, 8:02 a.m. Claire was still in Toronto, technically. The hotel app said otherwise. She'd checked out late the night before. No mention of a Sunday flight. No update. She just texted, long night. Meetings went over. Love you. The word love landed like spam. Meaningless. Unsubscribed. So I did what any operations manager would do. I updated my timeline. Logged receipts. Synced audio. Then opened a new email. To ethics@meridianbrands.com subject. Possible relationship violation. Confidential tip. It was short. Professional. Anonymous. Noticed something odd during a recent industry event. Claire Mason, senior marketing exec at Meridian, appears to be traveling frequently with Jason Roy, the new creative director. Their behavior struck several people as more personal than professional, especially given his reporting line to her. Might be nothing, but HR might want to look into travel records and expense accounts for the past 3 months. No accusations. Just smoke. And corporate HR? They'll search the forest for a spark. That same afternoon, I scheduled an appointment with my attorney. I didn't go to him for a divorce consultation. Not yet. I asked about reputation protection, asset separation, digital evidence admissibility. He leaned back, gave me that slow, calculating look. You're preparing for war, he said. I shook my head. I'm preparing the battlefield. There's a difference. That evening, Claire came home. Hair still curled. Slight scent of expensive hotel soap she never used at home. She kissed me like we hadn't been living 2 different lives for weeks. Missed you, she said. I nodded. Good trip. She smiled. Productive. That word again. We ordered Thai. She put on a sitcom. Laughed too loudly. I studied her face in the flickering light of the TV and wondered how long she'd been rehearsing this role. When she went to bed, I stayed up. Opened the drive. New uploads. A video this time. Jason filming her on a hotel bed, half-dressed, mock-interviewing her. So, tell me, Ms. Mason, how do you stay so professional while breaking every HR rule in the book? She laughed, then said, it's only unethical if you get caught. Tuesday morning, Meridian's HR sent out a company-wide email. Friendly reminder, all relationships that may pose a conflict of interest must be disclosed immediately. Claire didn't mention it over breakfast, but she scrolled her phone longer than usual. Her coffee went cold. By Thursday, she was edgy. Snapped at the dry cleaner over a misplaced skirt. Skipped gym. Didn't touch her wine. I could feel it, like a change in air pressure before a storm. The walls weren't collapsing yet, but she was starting to hear the cracks. Then she asked, casually, Hey, did you notice anything weird on my work email? It keeps lagging. I played dumb. Nope. Maybe restart the app. She nodded slowly. Didn't press. But I could see it in her eyes. Suspicion. Paranoia. That creeping itch of uncertainty. And that's exactly what I wanted. Not to destroy her. To unsettle her. Because Claire didn't fear being wrong. She feared not being in control. Friday morning, 7:40 a.m. HR requested a private meeting with Claire. She told me it was routine, but her hand shook when she tied her hair back. I poured her coffee. Killer outfit, I said. She looked at me for a long second. Searching. For what? I don't know. But whatever it was, she didn't find it. By 4 p.m., she was home early. Didn't speak much. Didn't eat. Just stared at her phone, waiting for a message that clearly wasn't coming. Later that night, she cried in the shower. Not loud. Not theatrical. Just long, slow weeping, like she was finally grieving something. Maybe the job. Maybe the illusion. Either way, I let her cry. Because I had cried in silence too. Weeks ago. And now I was just getting started. If there's one thing Claire respected, it was image. Not truth. Not loyalty. Image. She didn't care how things were, only how they looked. So I figured, if I really wanted to hit her where it hurts, I didn't need revenge. I needed exposure. And nothing exposes like a projector and a quiet room. The opportunity came quicker than I expected. Her company was hosting its annual Innovation and Integrity Conference. That title aged like milk. Claire was scheduled to give a keynote. I wasn't invited, of course. But Jason was. A friend of mine, Alex, works AV for the venue. We played rugby in college. He owed me. So when I called and said, I need a favor, he just asked, do I wear gloves or bring popcorn? The morning of the event, Claire left early. Hair perfect. Lanyard badge swinging confidently. I watched her drive off and said out loud, smile while you can. I arrived separately. Quietly. Back entrance. Alex met me by the equipment booth, handed me a tablet. Just tap slide 5, he whispered. You'll live after that. 5 minutes later, I stood in the back of the room. Conference badge borrowed. Hoodie zipped. Nobody noticed me. Claire took the stage to polite applause. Talked about brand transparency and emotional intelligence and leadership. My God, the irony. Slide 1. Company logo. Slide 2. Some stats. Slide 3. Market goals. Slide 4. Thank you for trusting us. And then a slide 5, where she was supposed to show a customer testimonial video. Instead, the screen glitched, paused, then started playing something else. It began with a screen grab. Claire's name. Jason's. Shared flight info. Hotel confirmation. Then emails. Then texts. Then photos. Not graphic. Not illegal. But just enough to silence 100 people in seconds. A dinner in Rome. An accidental hand-holding photo. A selfie in matching robes at the Fairmont with the caption. Q1 review went very, very well. Face-blowing kiss. Claire froze. Mouth slightly open. Fingers still clutching the clicker, like it might save her. Jason was halfway out of his seat before the screen cut to black. Dead silence. Then Alex played the audio. Just 15 seconds. Claire's voice, breathy and laughing. We could get fired for this. Jason, then it'll be worth it. I tapped the tablet. The screen went dark. Claire stood there like she forgot how legs worked. Someone in the crowd cleared their throat. Someone else muttered, what the hell? The conference lead approached the stage, touched Claire's arm, whispered something. She didn't move. Jason had already vanished. I walked out before security could wonder who hit play. Didn't need to see the aftermath. I'd already lived it. Claire didn't come home that night. Or the night after. She sent one message. How could you do this to me? I stared at it for a minute, then replied. How could you not expect it? Monday morning, I checked the news. Nothing headline-worthy. Just a quiet corporate shuffle. Jason's name had vanished from the staff page. Claire's was still there, but now under pending reassignment. Reputation damage is funny like that. It doesn't scream. It whispers. But those whispers echo for years. And me? I had no plans to gloat. No interest in dragging it further. This wasn't about punishment anymore. It was about making the invisible finally visible. The only thing left to do was leave. The morning after the conference, Claire came home. I heard the garage door, then the slow steps across the kitchen tiles. She didn't call out my name, didn't slam anything, just stood there in the hallway, still in heels, still in that navy blue blazer like the image was clinging to her even as it crumbled. I didn't get up. She finally broke the silence. I don't know what you think you proved. I looked at her. Calm. Focused. I didn't do it to prove anything. I did it because it was true. She sat down across from me, hands folded like she was being deposed. You embarrassed me, she said. I smiled. Just barely. You did that all by yourself, Claire? I just made sure no one missed it. I didn't raise my voice. Didn't ask why she did it. Because I didn't care anymore. The truth is, by the time you're planning an exit, the fire's already gone out. So I slid a document across the table. Not divorce papers. Just a simple outline. A summary. House stays with me. Joint accounts already split. Car title transferred. Prenup clause 4.2 invoked. Infidelity nullifies spousal claims. Lawyer name and contact provided. She stared at the paper like it might explode. You've already done all this? I nodded. Claire, I was married to you. Of course I did it in advance. She didn't cry. Not yet. She just sat there like someone reviewing the fine print of a contract they never thought would matter. Because people like her never expect consequences. They think charm can renegotiate anything. But I wasn't in love with charm anymore. I was in love with peace. That afternoon, I packed a single bag. Just the essentials. Clothes. A few books. My watch. A notebook with sketches for a cabin I'd been dreaming of since before we met. I left the rest behind. This wasn't running. This was reclaiming. I didn't tell her where I was going. She didn't ask. But she did say one last thing. Then, you used to be so gentle. I looked at her with the clearest eyes I'd had in years. And you used to be honest. Then I closed the door and left the key on the kitchen counter next to the cold coffee she never finished. I drove north. No playlist. No calls. Just the sound of tires on asphalt and the quiet freedom that comes from knowing no one can reach you. Somewhere near the state line, I stopped at a diner. Old school. Vinyl booths. A waitress named Marlene who called me Han and poured refills without asking. I sat there, alone with a grilled cheese and black coffee, and smiled for no reason. I wasn't sad. I wasn't angry. I was empty. But in a good way. Like a room finally cleared out after years of clutter. I didn't know where exactly I'd end up. But I knew this. I'd rather rebuild from zero than live one more day as someone else's fool. 3 weeks. That's how long it took for the silence to settle in. No text from Claire. No calls. No drama. Just peace. I spent my days hiking, writing, fixing things that didn't need fixing. I slept with the windows open. Breathed. It was over. Or so I thought. Then, one Wednesday morning, my burner phone rang. Unknown number. I let it ring out. Then it rang again. Curiosity one. Ben Mason? Yes. This is Rachel from Meridian's HR department. I'm calling regarding a formal ethics investigation tied to Claire Mason and Jason Roy. I said nothing. We've received documentation that you may have had insight into their conduct. Still nothing. We'd like to ask, off the record, if you're the one who submitted the anonymous tip. I finally replied. I assume that's a rhetorical question. She paused, then said, more quietly, we're pursuing internal disciplinary action. Jason has resigned. Claire's facing a final review. I leaned back in the chair. And, her position may be dissolved. I didn't smile. Not because I wasn't satisfied, but because some victories don't need celebration. They just need closure. I have nothing more to add, I said. Rachel hesitated. Well, it's done, Mr. Mason. We thought you should know. Later that night, an email arrived. From Claire. Subject, you win. Message, I just wanted to tell you, you got everything you wanted. Hope it was worth it. No greeting. No apology. Still playing the victim. I stared at the screen for a long while. Then hit reply. Subject, you win message. I never wanted to win. I just wanted you to stop lying. But you couldn't. So I did what you feared most. I told the truth. Sent. Marked as read. No reply. The next day, I got another message. Not from Claire. From someone named Julia Roy. Jason's wife. She had found me through a mutual connection. One of those small world accidents that feel more like fate. She wrote. Then, I saw the emails. I saw the hotel bills. I saw the recordings. I never would have known if it weren't for what you did. He's out. My lawyer has everything. And I just wanted to say, thank you. You didn't just burn their house down. You lit the path for the rest of us. That message hit different. Because I realized this wasn't just about me anymore. It was about pulling the mask off the whole damn performance. One clean break at a time. By that weekend, I had moved into a quiet rental cabin near the lake. No Wi-Fi. No distractions. Just books, tools, silence. I wasn't running anymore. I was returning to myself. And Claire? She lost the job. Meridian released a bland statement about leadership restructuring. Her LinkedIn profile vanished. She went private on everything. A mutual friend mentioned she was reevaluating her personal brand. That made me laugh. Because some people don't grow. They just rebrand. As for Jason? Well, let's just say Julia made good on her word. Divorce. Full custody. And an open letter posted to a quiet blog that, within a week, went viral. What happens when integrity is just a PowerPoint slide? She never named him. She didn't have to. I never posted anything. Never defended myself online. Never told my side publicly. I didn't need to. Because the truth didn't just win. It endured. A month passed. No drama. No late-night emails. Claire didn't call. Jason didn't try to explain. It was like the whole thing just collapsed into silence. And honestly, that was the best ending I could have asked for. Not forgiveness. Not revenge. Just distance. I was sitting on the porch one crisp morning, coffee in hand, when the envelope arrived. Plain. No return address. My name written in careful, familiar handwriting. I knew who it was from before I opened it. Then, I won't pretend I didn't deserve everything that happened. I just didn't think you were capable of it. I underestimated you. For so long, I thought your silence meant weakness. I didn't realize it was the quiet of a man who pays attention. I don't expect you to respond, but I wanted you to know. I was wrong. About you. About what we had. About what I thought I needed. I told myself a story where I was the victim. But the truth is, you gave me more than I ever gave back. And I ruined it. I hope you find peace. In someone better than me. Claire. I read it once. Then again. It didn't sting. It didn't warm me either. It just was. Closure isn't always cinematic. Sometimes it comes in 12-point font on cheap stationery. I folded the letter. Didn't tear it. Didn't frame it. Just placed it in a drawer. Right next to the ring I hadn't worn in months. Later that day, I drove out to a trail I used to hike before everything got complicated. Took the long path. The steep one. Sunlight broke through the trees in slow gold stripes. At the summit, I sat on a rock and looked out over the valley. Fields. Water. Quiet roads curling into hills. No messages. No noise. No mask. Just me. And you know what? For the first time in years, I didn't feel like a supporting character in someone else's story. I wasn't a provider. Or a placeholder. Or the guy she settled for. I was a man who saw clearly, acted decisively, and walked away clean. Not broken. Not bitter. Just done.